Hola gente de YouTube, yo soy Muffin y bienvenidos a otro capítulo de Stanley Parable. Como la última vez empezamos y el principio no es el principio. Y esperemos que esta vez no tarde de nuevo 100.000 años en cargar. Por favor, juego, no lo hagas.
Una hora después.
This is the story of a man named Stanley.
No sé por qué se tarda tanto
worked for a company
en
in a
cargar.
big building.
Pero bueno, esto ya no lo sabemos. Ya lo vivimos.
All of his
Y esta
coworkers were
vez
gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to
hagamos
go to the
lo que
meeting
nos
room.
dice el
Perhaps he had
narrador
simply missed a memo.
para ver si podemos tener un final feliz, sin muerte, sin destrucción, sin caernos de algún lugar.
Stanley came to a set of two open doors.
Izquierda.
He entered the door on his left. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around. and
Vamos a
got back
quedarnos
on
aquí.
track. There was
Buscar
nothing
si
here.
podemos tomar
No
algo.
choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet.
Ok,
No reason to still be here.
te haré caso.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked
Vamos
upstairs to
arriba.
his boss's office.
Oficina del jefe. No podremos entrar al baño de ejecutivos. Pero podemos entrar a la oficina del jefe.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra
2, 8,
secret
4,
pin
5.
number. 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
¿No dijo que estaba atrás de su escritorio? Ah, acá. 2, 4, 5, 8.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs. Trying to input anything on the device was useless, since he could never possibly know that the combination was 28. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer
Yay.
luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Un pasaje secreto. Vamos, supongo. Ok. Nuestro jefe nos está ocultando algo. Cargando, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué estás cargando? Más te vale que no tardes. Ah, no. Esta parece que no va a tardar 1000 años. O eso espero. Listo.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
¿Qué hay por aquí? Por aquí.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ok, hay unas instalaciones de control mental. O una salida. ¡Escape! Ok, hagámosle caso. Solo por esta vez. Botón.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Sigamos el camino. De las instalaciones de control mental. Una cámara.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Ok, prosigamos. Ahí hay un sillón.
This mind control
El
facility, it was too
104 está
horrible. It
despedido.
couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Ok. ¿Qué nos tienes que decir, mundo? Ah, ya llegamos.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working.
Mind control
All of it
status.
monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Botones. Ok, ¿qué pasa si entro? Nada. Facility power. Mind control it loop. Vamos a desconectarlo.
And when at last he found
Ah. Hola. Hola.
blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over?
¿Ganamos?
Yes. He had won.
¡Eh!
He
¡Ganamos!
had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved.
¿Cómo?
Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not
¡Ay,
knowledge or
mucha
even
luz!
power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Ok. Entremos.
Stanley felt the cool breeze.
O salgamos,
upon
mejor
his
dicho.
skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Ok. Al menos tuvimos un final feliz, aunque no me convence. ¿Cómo sé que realmente no me siguen lavando el cerebro? O sea, se ve muy sospechoso. ¿Y qué pasa si salíamos por la salida de emergencia? Hay que ver qué pasa si salíamos por la salida de emergencia. ¿O qué pasará? Sí, salida de emergencia. Nada más que cargue. Por favor, juego, carga, algo.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days?
What?
Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note.
Me subí en la silla y me subí en el escritorio.
From now on.
Ok. ¿Puedo hacerlo en otra silla? No. ¿Cómo lo hice?
Stanley went around touching every little thing in the office, but it didn't make a single difference, nor did it advance the story in any way.
¡Ah! Subí de nuevo. ¿Puedo aventarme por la ventana? ¡Ah! Sí puedo.
At first,
What?
Stanley assumed he'd broken the map until he heard this narration and realized it was part of the game's design all along. He then praised the game for its insightful and witty commentary into the nature of video game structure and its examination of structural narrative tropes. So,
Pensé que sí sabía
now
otro
that you're
juego.
here, what do you think? Isn't this a fun and unique place to be? Why don't we take a minute just to drink it all in? Okay, I'm over it now. What do you think? Are you sick of this gag yet?
No.
Ah, then in that case, we'll continue. But now, here comes the real question. What do you think would have happened if you had told me that you wanted this to stop? Do you think it would have been particularly different? Would I have taken the same idea but rephrased it superficially to fit that answer? Perhaps you never would even have thought of it if I hadn't brought up the issue in the first place.
No.
Oh, now think
No.
about it. Will it be worth it for you to restart and then come back here just to do the other option? Clearly, this whole gag takes some time. What if the other option is even longer? How long will you spend in total just to have heard all the narration? Oh, and this is rich. Perhaps you've just played the other option, and now you've come to see what happens in this one. So, what do you think? Which choice was the better one? Imagine if you had selected continue on your first playthrough, how tantalizing it would be not knowing what happens when you pick the other option. Indeed, you are one of the lucky ones. Though if the other option is really miserable to listen to, then perhaps you're not. In fact, I'm just going to say that
Bueno, ya,
no one
ya
who's
tuve
listening to
suficiente.
this is lucky.
¡Sácame de aquí!
Well now, I've built up the other options so much that I'm going to stop talking and leave you to your decision whether to come back here, continue with the game, or just sit in this spot forever and
Pero ahí
ever.
está la ventana.
Cheers.
Déjame salir. ¿De verdad nos va a dejar aquí para siempre? ¡Déjame salir! Y me agacho. ¿Hay alguna otra salida?